Hey, mustard on the beat, yo. I don't know why I figured to do this opening, but yeah, I don't know. How good is Kendrick Lamar? I saw him the other week. Pretty cool guy. Not in person. I didn't actually meet Kendrick Lamar. I saw him on stage, and yeah, great performer. And then literally like 2 days later, I saw Lady Gaga. So pretty cool. Yeah, I'm back on YouTube. Um, no big revelation. Just took a month off to focus on myself and focus on like just when you do YouTube for a prolonged period of time, it kind of gets a bit repetitive, talking about the same topics, the same physical media collecting topics. And I didn't want to come back until I had something actually good to say. So you've seen the videos that have been getting posted the past couple of days, and they're kind of stuff from the back catalogue back in October and such. And I think maybe November, maybe early November. But either way, I'm back now. This is a new video getting filmed in December. And I wanted to do it because nothing has happened in the media landscape. Nothing has happened physical media related. So we have to talk about something. What do you think about Warner Brothers? Okay, we're talking about Warner Brothers, just in case you didn't figure it out already. I'm going to put on a hat because my hair looks atrocious when it's like this. It's all over the place. Look at that. That's like a look. That's like a... What's the dude from The Doors? Morrison. That's like a Morrison look. But let's fix my hair up. I don't want that look. Okay, let's talk about Netflix. This is such a random opening to a video. Anyways, Netflix, Warner Brothers. What's everyone think about this thing? Like, obviously, Warner Brothers getting bought is interesting. It's big in terms of, The Sopranos now is essentially a Netflix property. I mean, what else is there? There's Boardwalk Empire, Game of Thrones. Like, all of these HBO shows are now part of Netflix, and they're saying they're going to keep HBO separate, in all fairness. I don't see that being a long-term scenario. If you're buying Warner Brothers, you're buying Warner Brothers, you're buying HBO, you're buying the associated properties, and you're using them to build your service into the best possible service. Now, there's been some pushback in terms of Paramount. Now, I'm just going to grab this one because it is a Paramount movie. It says Paramount on the side right there. Paramount are still trying to buy this company. They're saying, oh, we offer 100 and whatever billion dollars. That's more than Warner Brothers, more than Netflix offered. So why were we passed over? Honestly, I don't care who gets this thing. This is the thing that I've been talking about. Now, I would have preferred if nobody bought it and it stayed independent as a studio. But I just don't care that Warner Brothers got bought. Honestly, they're talking about theatrical. Oh, what's going to happen to the theatrical window? What's going to happen when there's Superman in the movies? What's going to happen with this? Now, Netflix have come out and said they're going to keep a theatrical window of some sort. They want to get into that business model. But I just don't see the long-term viability or viability or whatever that word is. I don't know the word. But, the long-term potential of keeping things in a cinematic run. Now, you might say, oh, but, James Cameron's going to launch Avatar or whatever, and, every Avatar movie gets a lot of money. This is not Avatar. This is Warner Brothers. This isn't even the Disney company. So this doesn't hold... Now, it is Warner Brothers. They have Bugs Bunny. Let's not get it wrong. They have IP there that talk to people's childhoods, that talk to people's upbringings. I love Warner Brothers. I think, is Casablanca one of theirs? Casablanca is a great film. Where is Casablanca? I don't know what I've done with Casablanca. It's somewhere here. I know Casablanca is in something here. It might be in romance, wherever I put the romance section. Maybe behind me, I don't know. Either way, there is a lot of Warner Brothers movies, and this is the thing. There is a lot of IP under Warner Brothers. And when I talk IP, I'm talking intellectual property. Intellectual property is why Netflix paid what they did. They're paying for the back catalogue, and they're paying for the properties. The Harry Potters, Harry Potter is another big IP of Warner Brothers. There is all of this back catalogue that they can just draw from. I'm looking at stuff like... I think MGM belongs to Amazon, but the back catalogue of MGM movies, I think, belong to Warner Brothers. So the back catalogue belongs to Warner Brothers, but stuff going forward with Bond belongs to Amazon. Is that correct? But you know what I'm talking about? Looking around this collection right now, I mean, the Terminator here is MGM, but what's this one? This one next to it is Sony, so maybe... that's probably Cameron. There is a lot here that might actually scream, hey, this is why Netflix paid what they did. But what does that mean for physical media? Because I know a lot of you are watching, you're sitting here saying, get to the physical media part. We're here because we know you're the physical media guy. You collect all of this stuff. That is why we're here. You collect all of this. We want to know what you feel about Netflix and how they're going to say, like, you know, they used to do releases. They've got some releases up here. They've got the Stranger Things releases up there up to about season 2. But you know, physical media for Netflix is not a priority. They have not cared to put out their stuff on physical media. Now, given there are stuff that is on a streaming service like a Netflix or an Amazon or whatever, like The Boys. The Boys have come out on Blu-ray. I believe that's because The Boys is owned by Sony. Is that correct? But when I talk about Netflix, you have to look at the IP. You have to look at what is going to come out on physical media, what isn't going to come out on physical media. And if Netflix are buying it, Netflix are not going to care about, hey, let's put it on physical media, because the physical media people want to have an outlet to watch. They want to collect. They're going to say, no, we want that. When they want to watch that Superman movie, they will have to do it on Netflix and pay for that account and pay for the month so we can get our streaming numbers up. That's what's going to happen. They are not going to entertain the outlet of physical media. They are not going to entertain, hey, people would want a disc of this movie. If they cared about that, where is the Queen's Gambit? Queen's Gambit was a great show. I wanted to collect it. And they never put it out on physical media. I think Sony had a part in that, but Queen's Gambit should have had a physical media release. So should Squid Game. I would have wanted to have Squid Game on Blu-ray. They never put it out. So we're seeing Netflix very evidently not care about the physical media side of things. Now that obviously draws numbers to their streaming services. So they are not going to ruin market share and say, hey, we've got this here, but you know, you can go and buy the disc, and while you're at it, you can rip that disc and put it on the Pirate Bay. They're not going to do that. They want to keep it on their service. Now, given stuff will still appear on those websites, but they're going to do what they can to control the experience on their service in the easiest way possible. No worrying about torrents, no worrying about any VPNs, no worrying about any of that stuff. This is the easiest way possible for you to enjoy that movie. Now, I've heard from a lot of people talking about the cinema experience. Hey, cinemas, what are we going to do about cinemas? If Warner Brothers are out of cinemas, what are we going to do? The cinema scene is not going to survive with just Paramount and Universal and stuff like that there. Disney, you know, Disney's still in theatrical. What's going to happen? Theatrical is dying. We need to kind of call it what it is. I personally haven't been to a cinema in, I don't know when the last time is I went. I just don't care to go to a cinema. It's something that is, it's not even a luxury. It's kind of like a chore to go to a cinema and sit down and now I have to sit here for 2 hours. You can't pause your movie. It's like you have people talking over the top of it, blah, 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 blah. Hey, get my phone out. Hey, I better do this. Better just quickly check the gram. Better just quickly check the gram here and see what's happening in the middle of the movie. It is not a good experience to go to the cinemas anymore, unless it's somewhere that really control the use of smartphones and watches and stuff in cinemas. I think IMAX kind of do that to an extent, but even then, IMAX is not perfect either in that regard. So, back to physical media. We are going over a lot here, guys. I've been off here for about 2 months, so I've got a lot to catch up on. Okay. So, what's going to happen? What is going to happen to physical media? Honestly, the Netflix deal closes with Warner Brothers. Now they're saying the government might get involved, the US government might get involved, and all this other stuff. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Don't care. I don't care which way this goes. But honestly, I could see them just not getting physical media releases anymore, unless it's a really strong title that someone tries to license. But as I said, it will come out years after the fact because they want that view, that initial view on their service, so they can say, this is how many people are watching it. That's how they keep the numbers. But this is the problem. What happens to the industry? Well, obviously the back catalogue of Warner Brothers has been out there time over time over time over time. I think I've even got behind the camera here if I can find it. I don't know exactly where it is. It may be here, it may not. Oh, here it is. Let's grab it. It's come out so many times on so many releases, like The Wizard of Oz. This has had how many releases now? over many, like 100 years. They've had it on film, Super 8, they've had it on, I mean, did they release it on Super 8? They might have released it on Super 8. But you know, they've had so many releases of The Wizard of Oz. They've had it on Blu-ray, DVD, VHS, Betamax probably even. If they have it on HD DVD, they might have had it on HD DVD as well. But do you understand what I'm saying? Even if Warner Brothers gets bought, and even if they say, you know what, we've closed the deal, it's on Netflix now, you come to Netflix to watch Warner Brothers, the back catalogue of movies is still out there. Over and over and over and over and over on every format you can imagine, just about. Except 4K. And I know a lot of people are saying, but what about the new 4Ks? What about the Batman 2? Where is that going? Honestly, at this point, I mean, look, there's a similar precedent happening recently, that happened recently with WWE physical media. They got out in 2023, at the end of 2023, after Survivor Series. I think Survivor Series was the last physical media release for WWE. I believe they got out of it. And honestly, I just haven't noticed as much. I just was like, you know, I might just watch a highlight on WWE on recent television. But if I'm going back to watch an event, to watch like a Survivor Series 2005 or something, I'm more likely to get the DVD off my shelf and say I'm going to watch it that way. I'm less likely to say, oh, I'm going to go and find a streaming option or whatever. So I'm more likely to go back and find that. If I'm going to something like, oh, okay, let's look at Breaking Bad. I've got Breaking Bad down here. Now I could say, oh, but I want Breaking Bad is not a physical media released by Warner Brothers, but I can still look at Breaking Bad and say, oh, that hasn't had a 4K release. Oh, but what happens if Netflix buys Sony tomorrow? Well, I can still access Breaking Bad there on Blu-ray, and that has had DVD releases. That has had backwards, you know. I mean, I think DVD is probably as far back as it goes. But do you understand what I'm saying? Physical media with Warner Brothers is not just suddenly going to disappear because Netflix bought it. There is still millions and millions of, you know, physical media. Sorry, I had to do the millions and millions thing, The Rock, you know. Um, there is millions out there, you know, of these things. Not just 4K, Blu-ray, DVD, VHS, Laserdisc, I don't know, CL, I don't know. There's all these different formats of, like, abstract formats out there. I don't know. There's a lot of them. I've been watching a lot of, there's a guy, a tech guy, he's UK, I think, and he has all these old players, Techmoan or something, maybe? But he has all these old players, and it's kind of fascinating to watch. But here's the thing. People talk about the theatrical experience, and I know this is where this is going to go. Physical media is kind of great for the home theater experience. But even then, if you're waiting 2, 3, 5 months for a Blu-ray to come out, you're missing that timetable of joining in the discussion around it. The thing why Squid Game was such a cultural phenomenon when that came out, the first series, was because everyone was talking about it, experiencing it at the same time. Now, that's a TV show. Imagine when the Batman comes out and everyone can watch it at the exact same time, at the exact same place, when it drops at midnight on blah. That is what I'm talking about with theatrical. Theatrical can't do that. Theatrical can't match all the different regions in the world at one time. And what you're missing out on is, hey, leaks online. Leaks have already been posted to blah. Leaks have already been posted to, I don't know, Reddit or Facebook, and you've seen that pop up of, hey, so-and-so dies in this movie, or, hey, so-and-so, these two end up together. You miss experience that in the cinema because the online component of getting it leaked is already out there. Australia gets cinemas, get movies in cinemas about 12 hours before America does. So a lot of Australians jump online and start talking about it. And obviously that equates to America and the UK, and, you know, not everyone is getting these movies at the same time. Netflix might make that better, but then when we talk about the home theater aspect, screens are getting bigger. People are getting projectors so they can put a 200-inch screen. I've been watching a lot of YouTube on this as well. People are putting big screens in their place, in their house. And what you're seeing is this sort of shift towards, well, why would we go to a cinema, pay $100, $200 to take a family of 4 to a cinema, or 5, or however many kids you have? I don't have any kids, but you know what I'm saying? The family aspect of, hey, we could stay at home, watch the new Batman movie, pay $20 a month, maybe even less for one of the HD options, pay that $15, watch our Batman, get all the kids together, we got our own snacks from the store, we don't have to pay overpriced snacks. We don't have to hear people on their phones. If you want to go to the loo, you pause it and go to the loo. Yes, I was watching Critical Drinker. But, this is the whole thing. The cinema experience isn't what it once was. It's not a religious experience for people to go to. It is now sort of a chore to try to put in that effort. And when I watched the Fantastic Four, the Thunderbolts on Blu-ray when it came out, I actually preferred the experience of watching it at home. I'm just going to say it. I preferred watching it at home. I didn't care to watch it in the cinema. That's where cinemas are at the moment. And honestly, when I look at my Blu-ray collection here, I've got a lot in boxes over here. I've put a lot into the sleeves. I've been continuing that route for some of you who have been watching. Honestly, I've got everything I can imagine at this point. And honestly, if I need to collect anything more and Warner Brothers aren't going to put it out because Netflix bought it, I'll just go back and source it from like Blu-ray, or source it from DVD, or source it from VHS if I must. I don't really want to collect too much VHS because the space a VHS takes up is like 2 Blu-rays. I just don't want to collect too many of them. But that's what I'm saying. There is so much back catalogue out there of Warner Brothers. There is so much out there that can be gathered from so many different places. And the fact that we're saying, oh, but the new catalogue, what about the Batman 2? What about the Batman 2? I mean, look, it's a problem, I admit. Yes, Netflix buying it, it's not ideal, but it's the future. This is the way we're going. And if there isn't an available outlet there, people will just do what they did with Star Wars. Star Wars is the template of what happens when a version that a person wants isn't available. They go, they make their own versions, they put it out on other unofficial services, and that's how it's experienced if you want ownership over that. Now, it's not true ownership, but, that's as close as you're going to get, probably. And that's the problem. This has not just come out of nowhere. This is the way it's been going for a lot of time. The Netflix deal didn't just come out of nowhere. This is the first major, or second major, I think, maybe third. Disney bought Fox, Amazon bought MGM, and now this is like the third precedent in this thing. I mean, you could even count like the Discovery Warner Brothers merger as part of that major thing. Time AOL, Time Warner, even that stuff with back in the day. This is not the first major precedent of this nature, but it's the first one that a lot of people are going to point out saying the oldest studio in Hollywood just got bought by the streaming service. If this was Paramount that got it, people would say, oh, well, Paramount got it. Still not ideal, but, whatever. That's the problem. I think a lot of people are seeing this through the narrative of this has popped out of nowhere, this is the first time it's happened. This has been coming for a long time. Let's call it what it is. This is the future route everything's going. And yes, there will be a scenario where there's only 4 major studios or 3 major studios, which is bad for competition. And I think there needs to be sort of looking into that. But to say this came out of nowhere and that, oh, suddenly Warner Brothers is out of physical media and it's all gone. I've still got Harry Potter here, 4K. There it is. I want to watch Harry Potter. I don't have to pay for Netflix. I don't have to pay for HBO Max. I don't even need to pay another dollar to experience Harry Potter if I don't want to. There it is on my shelf. If these versions don't work, I got some DVDs, Blu-rays somewhere in one of these boxes. But do you understand what I'm saying? This is something that I have selection of how I want to watch things. And that's where I want to end it today. I just want to talk about my love for being here and having an audience and how I appreciate it. And I really enjoy what I do here. It's a hobby, but it is what it is. Peace.